Hello everyone, this is Dave Nunez recording another Modern Masters draft for the IncrediblePulp.com. This pack is very interesting. There isn't anything that immediately screams out to me as being insane. Um, I have it on reasonable authority that Giants is not actually the archetype you want to be playing, but Thundercloud Shaman is like the closest thing to a Wrath in this format. So I'm definitely considering that as a card. While I'd love to dirt around and Etched Oracle, um, I don't know. My training in terms of limited formats has basically been that you largely want to be in two colors, maybe one splash, doing something consistent and reasonably aggressive. People are trying to treat this like a cube and do five color green and value pick all the cards, but I don't think that's really where you want to be. So I'm going to take this Shaman. Out of this pack, this is another pack that I'm not super excited about. It does not really leave me much in terms of the Red-White Giants archetype. Um, I could be taking a Search for Tomorrow. I think for the time being, I'm going to consider this Vivid Crag. It's not amazing, but it kind of helps if I do end up in that red-green Search for Tomorrow plan. Um, and obviously the rare is missing out of this pack, so unless that rare happened to be a Kithkin or Giant, there isn't a large signal that I need to move out of it. Um, Beyond those archetype things, Face Vaulter's okay, Hanakami is reasonable. Maybe I should be taking the Kadama's Reach. But for the time being, I'm going to stay the course and take the Vivid Prey. Ooh. That is a reasonably late Mad Auntie and Apocryphite. But I also have a Kithkin Greatheart, which is a little bit of a combo with a Thundercloud Shaman, in that, we're considering being giants. It is a very late Mad Auntie. Not very late, but Mad Auntie is a very powerful card. A lot of your zombies. A lot of your goblins are only 1/1. So having a Mad Auntie or two really increases their potency. But I think I'm going to take the Greatheart. So here, Kataki's... We could definitely get this Rune Stalactite back, which is good with the Greatheart. Oh, or I could just accidentally take that and not the Kataki. Well, out of this pack, I'm considering the Torrent of Stone. I think that's better than the Tar Pitcher. The Emery Scout is also a reasonable card, but I think I'd just rather have pure removal than a Rebel that's going to search out some auras for me. Woodfall Promise is quite the beating. Oh god. Alright, I need to be careful that that stops happening. We're going to right-click this giant. We're going to hide that. Um, so yeah, this Giant Scout is okay. Landwalk is a reasonable ability. This is on the cheaper end for Giants as well. This very late Trump the Domains makes me kind of wish I had just been picking the do all the rampness and just Trump for the win, but I'm okay with the Giant. So here I'm pretty sure I'm going to take the Sen's Enlistment. We're definitely not a Skyreach Manta deck. It might be worse than the Mogwar Marshal, but your ability to turn any additional lands you draw in the late game into more 2/2s rather than Mogwar Marshal's converted mana cost of 2, I think is a strong enough benefit to take this Sen's Enlistment. So I think Ivory Giant is where we want to be here. It's nice that that came back. Ivory Giant is kind of awkward because it can tap your creatures as well. Like if you have a Thundercloud out, it'll tap that. And it's like you have to be very careful about Alpha Strikes and things like that. But I think the potential upside for the Ivory Giant is better than what I might get with the Thundering Giant. So we'll take that. I don't remember having such trouble misclicking. Apparently, there's something wrong with this mouse on this computer now. I don't know. But yeah, I really wish I mean, having the rune stalactite over the Kataki, I mean, it kind of stinks, but will live. I guess I'm just going to cut the on-color card for the time being. I don't think cutting any one of these cards from an opponent really gains a tremendous amount. But, ooh, that is a very late Apocryphite that I'm just going to immediately snap up. That I could have given that more discussion, but I'm just a very large fan of this card. Like a lot of the cards that were moved from rare to uncommon were in like a interesting spot where like I mean the thing is like there's been power creep obviously, so cards that were rare aren't as insane as they used to be. But that's a very strong uncommon. Um, I think I screw someone more by taking the Stinkweed Imp, although the Aether Snipe is pretty good. I will take back that other Sun's Enlistment, that seems fine. Alright, Hanakami that I can't do anything with. Whatever. I don't think I'm using this Rift Elemental for anything. Alright, come on, Pack Gods, something sweet. Well, is there anything that beats the second Thundercloud Shaman? Oh, Bone Splitter is very good. I also do enjoy the Apocryphite, but I think the Thundercloud Shaman is where I want to be. Like, if I can reach a critical mass of giants and pyroclasm away my opponent's boards, definitely think that's an effective use of time. With the Blinding Beam, the Glacial Ray, the Bone Splitter, and the Apocryphite in this pack, and you know the consideration that my opponents likely, and the Rift Bolt even, with the consideration that my opponents likely won't be in these colors, it's very, very likely that I get back a card I want out of this pack, which is great. Here I believe I'm taking the Red Cap. Is there anything that just screams pick me, pick me? The Red Cap is great. You don't even have to put in a tremendous amount of effort to use its enter the battlefield ability, and it's very good. Um, just the ability to create 2 or even 3 for 1s makes this a very strong card. So I think I'm taking another Great Heart. I do not feel like I need a critical mass of Ivory Giants, and the Tribal Flames are not very good in this deck, you know, because I'm at least attempting to play only 2 colors. Stir the Pride, I suppose, has the potential to be good, but I don't know. It either feels either win more or exactly what you need, or like not very good at all. Which, I mean, oh, alright, come on, that's a terrible description because I'm basically listing the only possibilities for a card. Well, like, let's consider the options. Either you have a bunch of guys and you play it, and you can give your creatures +2/+2 and win on the spot, or you have 7 mana in your aggressive deck, and you entwine it and gain a bunch of life while dealing that damage. Okay, now you're not dead on the backswing. Both of these require you to have a bunch of creatures and a bunch of mana in an aggro deck, though. I mean, I suppose there technically aren't that many Wraths in the format, but it seems wow. Alright, so I'm just gonna probably end up taking this other Thundercloud Shaman. I don't know if there's such a thing as too many, but I'm gonna have all of them. Getting back the Hammerheim Giant would be nice because, you know, this deck does have the potential to be a little weak to flyers, and I hate to be too loose in that manner. But yeah, I mean, this card's an uncommon, which means like it's not unreasonable that we have 3 of them, but we're still only in the second pack, so I have the opportunity to get even more, which is kind of nuts. Here I'm going to right-click on this Crush Underfoot. While I did just say Hammerheim Giant seems like a reasonable use of time to destroy flyers, so does Crush Underfoot. When you're able to turn a Thundercloud Giant into a like prey upon with it with no downside because your creature can't die. Like Hammerheim like if you have a Thunderclaw Giant, you can crush underfoot an Ephemeron or whatever other 4/4 flyers that your opponent's gonna have. Like it's not a huge deal. So yeah, I think that's the pick over the Giant. Is the Tribal Giant. um, let's see. I could take a Fiery Fall. I'm inclined to take the Vivid Crag over the Terramorphic Expanse, but that could be wrong. For the time being, I'm going to right-click on this Crag. Um, yeah, I definitely read a very interesting article about Modern Masters Limited, and the trick is that it often does feel like you just have an absurd amount of playables. Like it's pack 2. This is my 6th pick, so there's still 9 picks left to go in this pack. And like I already have the reasonable buildings of a deck. Like this is gonna be a borderline on my like I might have like 15 playable cards already. Like that's kind of insane. So, ooh, Avian Changeling definitely beats Blind Spot Giant, and there's a potential I get that back. It was like this is a very awkward Mog Funkies, but this is a flyer and a giant. So uh, definitely snapping that up here. So this pack, huh? Is there anything that I really would want to hate? I'm gonna hate this Blight Speaker because my options here are a Court Homunculus, which is really never going to be anything bigger than 1/1, or the Smog War Marshal. And I don't think I'm in a position to take great advantage of the Smog War Marshal. Like, I'm not super excited to pick it. And I think I can hurt the Rebels deck more by taking this Blight Speaker. It's going to limit its ability to close out games. I will absolutely snap. Oh, all right. I should not have snapped up that Apocryphite as quickly because there was a Blinding Beam in the pack. I don't know that the Giants deck is as good with a Blinding Beam as other decks are. Like, I'm sure it's insane in Rebels and other things like that, but I'll have to live with it. I'm gonna hate draft this Petals. I don't need my opponents bearing me in card advantage when I'm slow. Alright, I will take the Stir of the Pride. I don't think it's immediately going to make my deck, but I definitely will consider it. I'm going to right-click on this Haste Giant. Yeah, it's very unlikely that I will be able to take any advantage from the Sanctum Gargoyle. Grand Arbiter I'm never going to cast. So, that Grand Arbiter coming this late either means that the person hoped that it would wheel, or it is not actually going to be played in anyone's deck. I will, however, hate this Trigon Predator. I think it's better than the other 2 cards. I will also hate the Rift Sweeper. And last big Thesis. Alright. Interesting. So here. So if I go cost sort. What type sort? How am I doing for creatures? Alright, the deck has a reasonable number of creatures. I'd like to lower my curve a little bit, if possible. I mean, it sounds ridiculous. I'm playing a bunch of 5-buff giants, but I'd like to lower my curve a little bit. It's a good thing this is a Phantom Draft, because otherwise I would have to be taking that Maelstrom Pulse. Does having a Warspite Changeling outweigh the benefits of taking this Blinding Beam? I don't think so. I have a lot of 4-drops, and I'd like to guarantee that I have a way to close out the game. And I think the best way to guarantee that is to take this Blinding Beam. So that's what I'm going to do. Either something happened and someone else is drafting this now, or these packs have been very weak for me unintentionally. I think Sting Scourger as just an unsummon in this archetype is reasonable. I don't expect to ever pay Echo Mana for that. Oh, you know what? I forgot about the fact that Otherworldly Journey could be insane with my triple Thundercloud Shaman. Oh, alright, that's a Villain Splitter. Want all of those. Um, even over removal like Glacial Ray, I think that's a solid pick. Otherworldly Journey does have the benefit of me being able to exile a Thundercloud Shaman and have it return to play and use its effect again. So I definitely think that's a strong use of mana. Let's see, I have the option to take an Amaru Seekers or another Stalactite. I would really prefer to smooth out my curve a little bit. I think I want the Stalactite. I think. I definitely could see the Seekers being the correct pick. However, the Stalactite makes some of these more awkward non-giants giants. And like gives me play with my mana in the early game. This is not even remotely a Partick Dragon deck. Could take another Ivory Giant or another... Oh, I didn't take the first Sting Scourger. I think the first Sting Scourger is better than the second Ivory Giant. That is largely my consideration with this pack. I think that's going to be my choice. Other than that, there aren't really any cards that I'm super excited to take. I think having the War Spike Changeling is better than having the Ivory Giant in a deck that appears to be very red. I don't think I will be casting a Plume Veil anytime soon. That's where I want to end up. Ah, alright, getting there on a Stink Drinker Bandit. That is a very important part of this deck. The third Apocryphite or the second Torrent of Stone? I think it's the Torrent of no, I have a Glut of 4s, and there's no such thing as too many 2-drops, so I'm going to take the Apocryphite. See, like, you can easily be picking up late 5 mana cost creatures that doesn't matter. And in fact, I'm not even going to pick it. I'm already considering cutting the one that I have. My curve is, like, very high. I'd like to limit the 5s a little bit if possible. So otherwise, out of this pack, I most likely want to hate this Erratic Mutation, I believe. So that's what I'm going to take. Here, I hate the Thieving Sprite. I don't think I gain a tremendous amount by having an Empty the Warrens in my deck. And like the Fairies deck very much wants this card, so I think taking it is good. I'm going to take the Peer Through Mists. I'm not really tremendously worried about the Affinity deck having too many Sanctum Gargoyles, and I don't have a lot of way to deal with any of the less creature-based decks, so I think just decreasing their consistency a little bit is good. See, like, I could take the Lava Spike here, but that I wouldn't play that in my deck, so there's no reason to waste a card doing that. I think I'm going to take the Street Wraith. Here I just take the Blight Speaker. I definitely think that's the way to go. See, I can get back an Ivory Giant, and I think taking it, potentially to have it as a sideboard card, is better than hating a Face Filter. So where this deck ended up is reasonable. I've got a lot of ways to kill my opponents. I just can't guarantee that it's going to be very effective. Alright, so you go in, just all the artifacts are in. Probably Sting Scourger, definitely Crush Underfoot, Daredevil's so hard. You're a giant, you're a giant, you're a giant, you're a giant. Great Heart, Seekers, Changeling, yeah, probably, definitely, probably. Alright, so what cards am I not playing that are considerable? Oh, and a red cap. Okay, that was the problem. A red cap. So, what card do I like least in this deck? It's very possibly the Ivory Giant, honestly. Oh, it could be a Sen's Enlistment, too. But, like, I don't think I have enough white creatures, really, to take great advantage of Ivory Giant. However, Sen's Enlistment is a bit of a non-bow with an Ivory Giant. I mean, with a Thundercloud Shaman. All right, let's cut one Sen's Enlistment. So two. Let's see what Magic Online suggests for lands. 8 swamps? Oh, stupid. Cancel. So they have an 8-to-6 ratio suggested. What happens if I pull out this red cap and you stop being dumb? Let's put it in for an equivalently 2 casting cost red creature. You suggest something like 9-8. Okay. What about when I put 2 Vivid Crags in? You're down to 8-7? So that's like playing 10-7. Yeah, I think playing 8-7 is reasonable when I want to hit double red very consistently on turn 5 and want to have white on turn... White and red on turn 2, very much white on turn 3 though. I think this configuration is very likely to do that. So let's save this as MMA Giants, not Kithkin, Giants. That's fine, yep. And submit. So I'm going to pause, guys. I'll be back for round 1.